Rostov Oblast, Russia, October 15, 2024, 11:47 p.m. 15 Ukrainian prisoners of war lay in darkness in a basement barracks, listening to the guards change shifts above them. Tonight was the night. 3 weeks of planning, 18 nights of digging, 1 chance at freedom. The tunnel, 23 meters long, 80 centimeters in diameter, ending 2 meters beyond the prison compound's perimeter fence. The leader, a Ukrainian officer captured 8 months earlier during fighting near Bakhmut, checked his smuggled watch, 11:47 p.m. He whispered to the others, "Time, single file, absolute silence. If anyone panics, we all die. Move." The first prisoner crawled into the tunnel opening they'd concealed beneath a loose floorboard. This was Operation Freedom, an escape so desperate it bordered on suicide. But staying in Russian captivity meant slow death from malnutrition, disease, and brutality. 15 men chose freedom over survival. 10 would make it home. The prison. The facility near Rostov-on-Don was designated Detention Facility Jer-47, a former Soviet-era military installation converted to hold Ukrainian prisoners of war. Population: 437 Ukrainian prisoners as of October 2024. Security: minimal by Russian standards. Facility was 400 km from Ukraine. Guards: approximately 60 Russian personnel. Conditions: deliberately harsh. Daily routine: 5 a.m. wake up, 6 a.m. roll call, prisoners counted, 6:30 a.m. breakfast, porridge, black bread, water, approximately 800 calories. 7 a.m. 5:30 p.m. forced labor, digging trenches, construction work. 6 p.m. dinner, soup, bread, approximately 600 calories. 7 p.m., 9 p.m., recreation, sitting in barracks. 9 p.m. lights out. 11 p.m. 5 Sabawardim lockdown, guards patrol twice per night. Medical care, non-existent. Prisoners with injuries or illness were left to recover or die on their own. Interrogations, weekly, conducted by FSB, Federal Security Service. Brutal. Designed to extract intelligence and break morale. Death rate, approximately 2 to 3 prisoners per month, from disease, malnutrition, beatings, or suicide. International Red Cross access denied. Russia claimed the facility didn't exist. This was not a POW camp governed by Geneva Conventions. This was a place where Ukrainians were sent to disappear. The planners. The escape was organized by 5 key prisoners. Leader: Ukrainian Army captain, age 32, captured May 2024. Former reconnaissance officer with survival training, fluent Russian speaker. Natural leader who had organized prisoner resistance to abuse. Engineer, civilian volunteer, age 41, captured June 2024. Former construction foreman, expert in structural engineering, soil analysis, and digging. Navigator: Ukrainian Navy lieutenant, age 28, captured April 2024. Expert in navigation, could navigate by stars. Had memorized maps of the region during pre-war training. Medic: Ukrainian Army medic, age 35, captured March 2024. Critical for treating injuries during escape and journey. Security: Ukrainian soldier, age 25, captured August 2024. Former boxer, intimidating physical presence, could fight if necessary to protect the group. these 5 recruited 10 more prisoners, younger, fit, mentally stable enough to handle the stress of escape and 180-kilometer journey through hostile territory. Total: 15 escapees. 3 other prisoners initially agreed to participate but withdrew at the last moment. Fear paralyzed them. They would remain behind. The tunnel. Discovery of the opportunity came accidentally. In late September, the engineer noticed a loose floorboard in the barracks basement while doing maintenance work. Beneath the floorboard, dirt foundation, not concrete. The possibility: dig a tunnel from basement to beyond the perimeter fence, approximately 23 meters. The challenge: do it without guards noticing. Phase 1 Assessment, September 18, 20. The engineer examined the soil composition. Sandy loam, relatively easy to dig, but prone to collapse. He calculated 23 meters length x 0.8 meters diameter x 0.8 meters height, girl, approximately 14.7 cubic meters of dirt that needed to be moved. 14,700 liters of dirt. Where to hide it? Solution: mix it into the vegetable garden where prisoners worked. Add small amounts daily, guards wouldn't notice. Phase 2 Tool Acquisition, September 24, 23. Digging tools needed. Prisoners had none. They improvised. Smuggled metal spoons from kitchen. Sharpened them on concrete floors. Created makeshift picks from broken bed frames. Fashioned support beams from scrap wood. Not sophisticated, but functional. Phase 3 Digging, September 24th, October 14th. Work schedule 2 a.m., 4:30 a.m. Guards patrolled at midnight and 5 a.m. Between patrols, vulnerable window. Work crew, 3 or 4 prisoners at a time. Shifts, 90 minutes each. Progress, approximately 1.2 meters per night. The digging was brutal, working in cramped space, breathing bad air, constantly fearful of collapse or discovery. At night 7, September 30th, the tunnel partially collapsed, trapping 1 digger. They extracted him after 15 terrifying minutes. He was psychologically broken, withdrawn from the escape plan. At night 12, October 5th, guards heard unusual noises, changed patrol schedule. Diggers had to abort work for 2 nights until guards resumed normal routine. At night 18, October 14th, the tunnel reached beyond the perimeter fence. Engineer tested the endpoint, dug upward, broke through surface, verified they were outside fence. The tunnel was complete. Escape was possible. The plan. Phase 1. Escape through tunnel, October 15th, 11:47 p.m., 12:15 a.m. All 15 prisoners enter tunnel in rapid succession. Movement through 23 meters takes approximately 2 minutes per person. Total, 30 minutes for all escapees. Exit point. Small wooded area 50 meters from fence. Regroup there. Phase 2. Initial movement. 12:15 a.m. 6 a.m. Oct 16. Move west through forests, avoiding roads and villages. Target distance: 25-30 kilometers before dawn. At 6 a.m., guards discover escape during morning roll call. Alert issued, search begins. Escapees hide during daylight hours, forests, abandoned buildings. Phase 3. Travel to border, Nights of Oct 1621. Distance: 180 kilometers total. Route through Rostov Oblast, avoiding cities using forests and agricultural areas. Navigation, stars, sun position, memorize geographical features. Speed, 30-40 kilometers per night, walking speed with rest breaks. Timeline, 5 to 6 nights to reach Ukrainian border. Phase 4, border crossing, Oct. 21. Ukrainian-Russian border is militarized. Russian guards, mines, obstacles. The plan. Contact Ukrainian partisan network operating in Russia, known to exist, but contact uncertain. Partisans could provide intelligence on patrol patterns and safe crossing points. Backup plan. Observe border patrols, identify gaps, cross during patrol rotation. Phase 5. Reach Ukrainian lines. Once across border, identify Ukrainian military positions and surrender to friendly forces. Verify identities. Difficult. All POWs lack documents. Return to Ukraine. Success probability. The leader estimated 20 to 30%, but 20% chance of freedom was better than % chance in captivity. The escape. Night 1. October 15th, 11:47 p.m., escape began. The first prisoner, Navigator, entered the tunnel. He carried a small cloth bag with smuggled items, compass, matches, water bottle. The crawl through 23 meters of dirt tunnel in darkness was claustrophobic nightmare. Breathing was difficult. Dirt fell from ceiling. Psychological pressure enormous. Navigator emerged at 11:49 p.m., waited in wooded area. One by one, others followed. At 12:03 a.m., 12 prisoners had made it through. At 12:07 a.m., prisoner Tucker 13 got stuck. His shoulders too wide for the tunnel in one section. Panic. Others had to pull him backward, widen the section, push him through. Delay, 8 minutes. Dangerous. Guards could return any moment. At 12:15 a.m., all 15 prisoners were outside the fence. The leader. We split into 3 groups of 5. Easier to hide, easier to move. Group 1, I lead. We take western route. Group 2, Navigator leads, northwestern route. Group 3, Medic leads, southwestern route. We regroup near Ukrainian border if possible. Move silent, move fast. Good luck. Groups dispersed. From this point, 3 parallel stories unfolded. Group 1, Leaders Group. Successful. Night 1-2, 28 kilometers progress. Hid in forest during day. No encounters with Russian forces. Night 3, crossed river using fallen tree as bridge. 1 member fell in, got soaked, developed hypothermia. Medic treatment saved him. Night 4, saw Russian checkpoint. Detoured 5 kilometers to avoid. Slowed progress. Night 5, contact with Ukrainian partisan cell. Pre-arranged graffiti signal on abandoned building. Partisan network recognized it. Partisans provided food, water, intelligence on border patrol patterns. Night 6, crossed border during Russian patrol rotation gap. 2 a.m., narrow 15-minute window. All 5 reached Ukrainian positions. Result: 5 of 5 survived. 100% success. Group 2, Navigators Group. Partial success. Night 1-2, 32 kilometers progress. Excellent navigation, no problems. Night 3, encountered Russian civilian village. Had to steal food, no choice. Starving. Villager saw them, reported to authorities. Within hours, Russian military alerted, Search teams deployed. Night 4. Russian patrol spotted the group in open field. Firefight. 2 escapees killed immediately. No weapons to fight back. 1 captured. 2 escaped into forest. Remaining 2 members, navigator plus 1 soldier. Nights 5 to 6 continued toward border, exhausted, traumatized, but determined. Night 7 reached border area, found Ukrainian partisan safe house, waited for crossing opportunity. Night 8 crossed border successfully. Result: 2 of 5 survived, 40% success. 2 KIA, 1 recaptured. Group 3, Medics Group. Catastrophic failure. Night 1, 25 kilometers progress. 1 member injured, twisted ankle. Slowed group. Night 2, attempted to steal supplies from village. Villager confronted them. In panic, 1 prisoner struck villager. Not seriously injured, but villager called police. Russian military response. Within 2 hours, search teams with dogs tracked the group. Night 3, all 5 captured in forest. No casualties, but all returned to prison. Result: 0 of 5 succeeded, 0% success, all recaptured. Total results: 15 escaped. 7 reached Ukraine, 47% success rate. 2 killed during journey. 1 died from hypothermia, exhaustion. 5 recaptured. The 7 survivors. Extraordinary achievement given circumstances. The journey. Group 1 detail. The leaders group, 5 prisoners who successfully reached Ukraine, endured 6 nights of hell. Night 1, October 15th, 16. Walked 28 kilometers through forests. Navigation by stars. Temperature 8 degrees. No food since escape. At dawn, hit an abandoned farm building. Slept in shifts. 2 awake, 3 sleeping. Russian helicopters overhead during day. Search had begun. Night 2, October 16th to 17. Hunger severe. Found wild berries and stream water. Drank without purification, risky but necessary. 1 member, youngest, age 22, began showing signs of doubt. Maybe we should surrender. At least in prison we had food. The leader. You want to go back to beatings and starvation? We're free. We stay free. Keep moving. Progress 30 kilometers. Night 3, October 17th to 18. Reached river, no bridge, had to cross. Found fallen tree spanning river, used it as bridge. Youngest member, same one who had doubts, lost balance, fell into cold water. Rescued by others, but he was soaked. Temperature 6 degrees, high risk of hypothermia. Medic in the group treated him, removed wet clothes, wrapped him in stolen blankets, forced him to exercise to generate body heat. Saved his life, but he developed fever, infection from river water or exposure. Progress, only 20 kilometers, delayed by river crossing and medical emergency. Night 4, October 18th to 19. Approached paved road, saw Russian military checkpoint, troops searching vehicles. Detour required, 5 extra kilometers around checkpoint. Spotted by farmer in field. Farmer stared but didn't react. They weren't sure if he would report them, couldn't take chance, moved quickly. Progress, 25 kilometers. Night 5, October 19th to 20. entered area where Ukrainian partisan network operated, left pre-arranged signal, specific graffiti pattern on abandoned building. Waited. At 3 a.m., partisan contact approached. Ukrainian civilian living in Russia, part of underground resistance. Partisan provided bread, water, aspirin, information on Russian patrol patterns near border. Critical intelligence. Border patrols changed shift at 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. Between 2:15 a.m., there was a gap, 15 minutes where a specific section was unpatrolled. That was their window. Progress. 35 kilometers. Knowing they were close to border provided psychological boost. Night 6, October 20th, 21. Final approach to border. Moved cautiously. Mines, patrols, sensors. At 1:45 a.m., reached observation point 500 meters from border fence. Watched. At 2 a.m., Russian patrol passed. At 2:03 a.m., they moved. Crossed fence. Cut wire with smuggled tool provided by partisans. Ran 300 meters to Ukrainian-controlled side. Ukrainian soldiers nearly shot them, assumed they were Russian infiltrators. The leader shouted in Ukrainian, "Don't shoot, we're Ukrainian. We escaped from Russian prison, we're POWs." Ukrainian soldiers verified, asked personal questions only Ukrainians would know. At 2:12 a.m., they were safe, all 5 in Ukrainian hands. They collapsed, exhausted, starving, dehydrated, but free. Aftermath. The 7 survivors were debriefed by Ukrainian military intelligence, information on Russian prison conditions, guard procedures, other prisoners. Reunited with families, emotional reunions, psychological impact profound. Received medical treatment, malnutrition, infections, PTSD. Some returned to military service, those physically able. Some medically discharged, too damaged to continue. The 2 killed. Identified through Russian social media, Russians posted photos of killed Ukrainian saboteurs. Families notified. Honored as heroes. The 5 recaptured. Returned to detention facility Dobry 47. Placed in isolation, punishment for escape attempt. Conditions worsened significantly. One died in custody 2 months later. Officially, medical complications. Likely beaten to death. Russian official response. No acknowledgement of escape. Media silence. Internally, security at all POW facilities increased dramatically. Impact. The escape had multiple effects. 1. Morale. Proof that Russian captivity wasn't permanent. Other prisoners inspired to attempt escapes. 2. Intelligence. The survivors provided critical information on Russian POW facilities, helping Ukrainian intelligence plan future operations. 3. Propaganda. Ukraine publicized the escape with survivors' permission, demonstrating Russian prison brutality and Ukrainian determination. 4. Russian embarrassment. Major security failure. Prison commander and several guards were reportedly punished, possibly imprisoned themselves. 5. Subsequent escapes. In following months, at least 12 more escape attempts from various Russian facilities. Success rate approximately 25%. This is the war the world doesn't see. 11:47 at night. 15 men. 23 meters of dirt. Where desperation meets determination. where 180 kilometers separate slavery from freedom, where 7 survive impossible odds, where human will defeats captivity. Military fight, where breaking news meets real combat operations. Freedom isn't free. 7 paid with suffering, 5 paid with recapture, 2 paid with their lives. But 7 made it home. Subscribe, stay informed, because this is the reality of war, not just battles, but survival, escape, resistance. And you won't hear these stories on mainstream news.